Very good morning to all of you friends. I hope you guys are doing good. In the last session we started, in fact last two sessions we were discussing marginal costing. I hope you guys are thorough with the concepts what I have discussed till now. Now let me give you a brief what all points I have discussed in the last session. We started with marginal costing. Now this method of costing is used by management people and it is a tool where it assists management in decision making. In marginal costing, only variable cost is charged to the cost of product. As far as fixed cost is concerned, it is wiped off against contribution. Further, we discussed marginal cost, wherein what is marginal cost? The cost of producing one additional unit is marginal cost. Further, we discussed variable cost, that is the cost that varies according to production. So as the production increases, the variable cost increases. As the production decreases, variable cost decreases. And if there is no variable cost, no production, no variable cost. Further, we can use this words marginal cost and variable cost interchangeably in this chapter. Further, the next point what we discussed is fixed cost, that is the cost that remain fixed irrespective of production. Whatever the number of units you produce, the fixed cost will remain constant. Thereafter, very good Shivam Singh, and very good morning to you Shivam. Good morning Miss Anu Gupta, all good dear. So thereafter we started with marginal costing, wherein we discussed the equation, that is the basic equation, wherein sales minus variable cost is contribution, contribution minus fixed cost is profit. Thereafter we discussed PV ratio, that is contribution divided by sales into 100. So it shows the relationship between contribution and sales. That is, what is the percentage of contribution to sales? Few assumption, PV ratio will remain constant at all the level of sales. However, if the question clearly mentions that there is a change in selling price per unit or variable cost per unit, yes, the PV ratio will change. So the assumptions, when talking about the assumptions, we do assume that if the question is silent, selling price is constant, variable cost is constant, and PV ratio is unchanged. Welcome back, guys. There were some connectivity issues, so that's why it was a break. So let's proceed further, guys. So when talking about the assumptions of marginal costing, selling price per unit we will assume as constant, variable cost per unit we will assume as constant. Further, PV ratio will remain unchanged at all the level of sales, since the selling price and variable cost per unit are constant. Now, thereafter we discuss break-even sales, that is that level of sales where there is no profit, no loss, or we can say sales is equals to total cost. We discussed the derivation of formula, how formulas are derived. Right now I'm just discussing the formula part, wherein if you want to calculate break-even sales in rupees, it is fixed cost divided by PV ratio. And if you want to calculate break-even sales in units, it is fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. Further, we discussed desired sales. The concept is more or less similar to calculation of break-even sales, wherein instead of zero profit, they are asking that you have to earn some profit apart from recovering fixed cost. So here in the formula is, if you want to calculate in rupees, it is fixed cost plus desired profit divided by PV ratio. And if you want to calculate in units, it is fixed cost. It is fixed cost plus desired profit divided by contribution per unit. Thereafter, we discussed margin of safety, that is the safety margin, wherein it says how much we are safe from the deadline of the business. As for the formula is concerned, it is margin of safety is equals to actual sales minus break-even sales, or alternate formula wherein we discussed in detail how this formula is derived, that is profit divided by PV ratio. Further, if the 2-period data is given, that is sales and profit is given, then the formula is change in profit divided by change in sales. Ultimately, the formula is change in contribution divided by change in sales. So herein, if the profit is changing, it is because of the change in contribution, since the fixed cost is constant in both the periods. So that is what we discussed in the last session. So if you guys have any doubts, you guys can ask me. Mohammad Farad, sir, please explain the difference between margin of safety and profit. So profit is contribution minus fixed cost, and margin of safety talks about the sales. How much sales extra over and above break-even sales is margin of safety sales. No worries, Shivam. So guys, any doubts in this part? Very good morning, Tanishka. No worries, Mantanjali. So now, let's proceed further with few more types of problem on marginal costing. So just a second, guys. So let's start with few problems on marginal costing. Few decision-making problems on marginal costing. Further, I'm discussing few more types of questions also. So let's say there is a question wherein we are manufacturing two products, that is product A and product B. The selling price and variable cost per unit is given in the question. That is 1800 and 2160 is the selling price, and the variable cost is 900 and 1800. Further, the fixed cost is given of the company, that is, let's say 88,000 rupees. I repeat again, guys. I'm discussing a particular situation in which two products are given and the fixed cost of the company is given. Now the question is how to calculate PV ratio and break-even sales. Further, it is given that the company maintain the sales mix in the ratio of 2:3. That is, if 2 units are manufactured of product A, then 3 units will be manufactured for product B. Now the question is how to calculate break-even point, further how to calculate combined PV ratio. So let's start, guys. When talking about the first point, that is combined PV ratio will not be calculated separately because there is only one fixed cost for both the products. No, Pooja Dayaram, I have not received any queries of yours. So guys, the company maintains the sales mix in the ratio of 2:3. So now the question is how to calculate break-even sales, because there are two products. However, as far as fixed cost is concerned, it is given as a whole for the company. Only one fixed cost is given for both the products. Now the question is how to calculate break-even sales of the company as a whole and of individual product A and B. So let's first calculate the combined PV ratio. When talking about the combined PV ratio, the weightage will be given to the price as well as the quantity. I repeat again, when talking about the combined PV ratio, the weightage will be given to the price as well as the quantity. So herein, when talking about the PV ratio, the formula is contribution divided by sales into 100. So in our first case, that is product A, the contribution is 900 into the weightage is 2. Plus in the second case, my contribution will be 2160 minus 1800. So that is 360 multiplied by the weightage, that is 3. Divided by sales, when talking about the sales also 1800 into 2 plus 2160 into 3 into 100. So when talking about the combined PV ratio, guys, very important, you have to keep in check the price as well as the quantity. So let's calculate the combined PV ratio. This will be 2880 divided by 10080 into 100. So this will be my combined PV ratio, that is combined contribution keeping in mind the units as well as the price divided by combined sales, again keeping in mind the units and the price. So 2880 divided by 10080 into 100. So this will be 28.57%. This is my combined PV ratio. Now when talking about combined break-even sales, we can easily calculate the combined break-even sales. That is fixed cost 88,000 divided by 28.57%. So this will be 308015. So this is how the combined break-even sales will be calculated. Now when talking about the distribution among A and B, very simple, it will be distributed in the sales ratio, that is the units as well as the prices are involved. So this will be distributed in the ratio of 3600 is to 6480. 308015, the combined break-even sales will be distributed in the ratio of 3600 is to 6480. One lakh 10,000 198015. So this is how the combined break-even sales is calculated. Admin sir, are you there? Admin sir? Admin sir? The board is visible or what? Or it's not visible? Can you please keep the session on hold for a minute? Sorry for sorry for the break, guys. I think there are some technical issues. I hope now I am visible to all. In fact, the board is visible to all. Please check, guys. I hope the letters are visible to all. So, guys, expecting that there will be no further interruption, there are some technical issues with the internet connections and all. So I think the things were not visible. Hopefully now it is visible to all of you guys. So now let's discuss this part once again, wherein talking about sales mix, very important. If there are two or more than two products involved and we have to calculate the break-even sales and only one fixed cost of the is given for the company as a whole. So in that case, we will first calculate the combined PV ratio, wherein weightage will be given to the quantity as well as the price. So here in the selling price per unit is 1800 into the quantity weightage, that is 2. Selling price per unit 2160 into the quantity weightage, that is 3. Herein 900 is my contribution for product A and 360 is my contribution for product B into the sales mix ratio, that is 2:3. So into 2 into 3. So herein we will get the combined PV ratio, that is 28.57. This 360 is my contribution per unit. So when talking about the combined break-even sales, it is combined fixed cost divided by combined PV ratio. We will get the combined break-even sales. This is what our combined break-even sales. When talking about the calculation of individual break-even sales, very simple, guys. It will be distributed in the ratio of sales, that is weightage will be given to the quantity as well as the price. So the selling price 1800 into 2, that is the weightage, so 3600. And 2160 into 3, that is 6480. So the break-even sales will be distributed in the quantity as well as the price ratio to get the individual break-even sales. I hope you guys are clear with this concept. If you guys have any doubts in the sales mix concept, you guys can ask me. Waiting for your queries, guys. I request you guys to please copy this part as well. I hope the board is visible to all. Any 30815 is distributed in the ratio of 3600 is to 6480. So this is how these figures are derived. When calculating combined PV ratio, weightage is to be given. Weightage is to be given to the quantity as well as the price. So here in the quantity ratio is 2:3. So the price and the contribution is given. So when talking about contribution, 900 into 2, 360 into 3 divided by 1800 into 2, 2160 into 3 into 100. This is how we will calculate the combined PV ratio. That is combined contribution divided by combined contribution divided by combined sales into 100. So this is how we will calculate the combined PV ratio. So once we are done with the calculation of combined PV ratio, we will calculate the break-even sales. That is fixed cost divided by combined PV ratio. We will get the combined break-even sales. So herein my fixed cost is 88,000 divided by my combined PV ratio as calculated is 28.57. So we will get the combined break-even sales, that is 308015. And when talking about the distribution of 308015 among A and B, it will be distributed in the ratio of sales, that is 1800 into 2 and 2160 into 3 in the ratio of the total sales. Sir, admin sir, are now there are any connectivity issues? Admin sir? Admin sir, are you there? कुछ कनेक्टिविटी इशू आया है क्या? हाँ? Because they are saying that the video is paused. So fine, I request you, sir, please keep it on mute, sir. Now guys, I request you to please copy this part. Suppose in the same question, if we have to calculate break-even point in units, I repeat again, we have to calculate break-even point in units. Very simple, guys. Fixed cost, that is 88,000 divided by contribution per unit, that is 900 into the weightage of 900, that is 2 plus 360 into 3. So 88,000 divided by 2880, this is 30.55 for 5 sets. So if we have to distribute it among A and B, very simple. For A, it will be 30.55 into 2. That is, since we have divided by 2, because when calculating the break-even point in units, it is fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. So contribution per unit is 900 and 360. But since it is a combined break-even sale, so we'll be dividing with the ratio also. So 900 into 2 and 360 into 3. So since we have divided by 5, it is for 5 sets. So when calculating the individual break-even sales for A and B, so this will be 30.55 multiplied by 2 and 30.55 multiplied by 3. So this will be 61 units approx. And 30.55 into 3, that is 92 units approx. Since the answer is in decimals, so we have written approx. If we want to calculate the break-even sales in rupees, very simple, we can calculate it directly. 61 into 1800, my selling price, we will get the final answer. As far as for B, 92 into 2160 will get the same answer as we have calculated in the previous question. Yes, this is the rounding of difference. So 61 into 1800 will get the same figure, that is 109800. The difference of 200 is the rounding of difference. As far as this is concerned, 92 into 2160. So this will be 198720. So 1,10,000 and 1,09,800, the difference of 200 is because of the rounding off. So first and the foremost point, very simple. If you want to calculate break-even sales in unit, we will put the weightage of the quantity also. Herein, the fixed cost divided by contribution per unit plus the weightage of quantity. Since we have given the weight of aggregate weight of 5, so this 5 will be multiplied proportionately in product A and B. So this is how the break-even point in units is calculated. I request you to to copy this solution, and if you guys have any doubts, you guys can ask me. Mohammad Farad, it's the rounding of difference, nothing more than that. So now, guys, Preeti Panchal, it was distributed in the ratio of 3600 is to 6480. So now, guys, there is a question for you wherein the selling price per unit is given, that is 1800 and 2160. Further, the variable cost is given, that is 900 and 1800. The contribution per unit is 900 and 360. So the question is same. Fixed cost is same, 88,000. Now let's say the company has decided to keep the sales mix in the ratio of 1:2. So you have to first calculate the combined PV ratio, thereafter break-even sales in rupees and units individually and company as a whole. So waiting for your answers, guys. So I repeat again, you have to calculate the combined PV ratio first of all. Can you guys tell me what is the combined PV ratio? Waiting for your answers. Okay, I've got answer from Vaishali Agrawal. Let me check Vaishali. Very good, Vaishali. Your answer is correct. Waiting for your answers, guys. Prabhas Jain, Rashmin Kumar, Mohammad Farad, Siddhappa, Kushia Sahu. Okay, Preeti Panchal, your answer is incorrect. Madhuri, very good morning. Your answer is correct. Neha Murarka, your answer is correct. Ankit Gupta, very good. Mohammad Farad, very good. Shivam Singh, very good. Sakshi, very good. Neha Murarka, Jinisha, your answer is correct. Rekha Kumari, your answer is correct. Sorry, Jinisha, your answer is incorrect. Rekha, your answer is incorrect. Akash Neel, Shyam, Mr. K, Riya Jaiswal, Preeti Panchal, and Mangeshwaran. All your answers are correct. Preeti Panchal, your answer is incorrect. Yes, Nalini, waiting for your answer. Rajiv Kumar, Rashmin Kumar, Siddhappa, waiting for your answer. So, Preeti Panchal, please recheck your answer, my dear. Jinisha, please recheck your answer. Isha Jaiswal, correct answer. Shivani, okay, Shivani has calculated the break-even sales also. I need to check. Vikas Bansal has calculated. Rashmin Kumar, your answer is incorrect. So most of us calculated the break-even sales also. So let me check. So guys, first listen to me, the calculation of combined PV ratio. Very simple. Combined contribution, that is 900 plus 360 multiplied by the weightage of the mix, that is 1 and 2, whole divided by selling price per unit, that is 1800 into 1 plus 2160 into 2 into 100. So this will be 26.47%. So this is how the combined PV ratio is calculated. Ayush Agrawal, very good. Shivam Singh, let me check, my dear. Tanishka, waiting for your answer, my dear. Vaishali Agrawal, very good. Let me check. So this is how the combined PV ratio is calculated. Now the second is combined break-even sales. Very simple, guys. Fixed cost, that is 88,000 divided by 26.47%. We will get the combined break-even sales. So 88,000 divided by 26.47%. So the combined break-even sales is 33,200, 3,32,452. So further, when talking about the distribution of 332,452, it will be distributed in the ratio of product A and B in the ratio of 1800 into 1, that is 1800 is to 2160 into 2, that is 4320. So the ratio will be 1800 is to 4320. So let's distribute it. So this will be 97780. So this is the way the combined break-even sales is calculated and the individual break-even sales is calculated. So yes, your answers were correct. Very good, guys. Very good, Tanishka. Very good, Shyam. Very good, Nalini. So when talking about the calculation of break-even sales in units, very simple, guys. That is 88,000 divided by contribution per unit, that is 900 into the weightage of 1 plus 360 into 2. So the number of units is 54.32. So for product A and product B, (54 units approx). (108 units). Yes, I checked your answer, Hitesh Jain. Perfect, Rashmin Kumar. So now I hope you guys are thorough with the concept of break-even sales in units and in rupees if there are two or more than two products and the fixed cost is given for the company as a whole. So if you guys have any doubts, any queries, you guys can ask me. Waiting for your queries. Very good, Rajiv Kumar. Very good morning, in fact. No worries, Rashmin Kumar. Very good, Madhuri. See, this unit should be fixed. It should not be in decimals. This is 54.32 for the ratio that is given. So as far as the break-even point in units is concerned for A and B, it should not be in decimal. So 54 and 108 units, or you can take it 109 units approx. Janvi, I request you to please check your answer in rupees, my dear. As far as units and PV ratio is concerned, it is correct. Janisha, very good. Your answer is correct. Very good, Shivani. Very good, Shraddha. We can, but again, there will be a rounding of difference, Rashmin Kumar. If they are asking in rupees, this method, and if they are asking in units, this method. So guys, the examiner may ask you which sales mix is better. Very important, guys. When talking about the decision making part, the mix with higher PV ratio and lower break-even sales should be selected. Because if the PV ratio is high, it means we are getting an overall extra contribution. And if our break-even sales is less, it means our dead point is less. So easily we can achieve the break-even point with a particular mix. So the mix, which mix is better? Very simple. The mix with a higher PV ratio and lower break-even points should be selected. A mix with a high PV ratio and a low break-even point should be selected. Yes, Hitesh Jain, I've checked your answer, my dear. Siddhapa Kamble, very simple. I have distributed this in the ratio. When talking about the calculation of this part, this is 332, 452 into 1800 divided by 6120. And similarly here also 332, 452 into 4320 divided by 6120. It's just the distributing in the ratio, Siddhapa. So I request you to please copy this part, guys. Can you please help me out, Madhuri? What exactly you are finding it difficult? Yes, Preeti, your answers are correct, but it is 1-0. Okay, your answers are perfect, Preeti. Yes, Preeti. So when comparing the first mix, that is, the first mix was, I think it is 2:3. So here in our PV ratio was 28 point something. And here in this mix, that the PV ratio is 26.47. So the first mix should be preferred over the second mix. Any of the approaches, I mean, you can consider it in units also or in rupees also. The answer will be same in both the cases. When talking about the mix, the meaning is that in what quantity, individual quantity, the product A and B should be produced. So let's say 2:3, it can be 2000:3000 units. Or because see, the company have limited resources. I repeat again, guys, the company have limited resources, that is limited man hours, limited machine hours. So in that limited time, the company works for maximum of the profit. So herein the company has to maintain the adequate mix. So that what should be the adequate mix so that we can get the maximum benefit out of our resources, Madhuri? Yes, it is applicable for two or more than two products. Madhuri, hopefully your doubt is resolved. Any more doubts, Madhuri? Ayush Agarwal, you can consider it in units also, in rupees also, the answer will be the same. I repeat again, guys, very important, the company have limited resources, that is limited man hours and limited machine hours. Now, keeping the demand in check, the company want to get the maximum out of these resources. So they have to keep in mind that what should be the mix of a particular product so that we can get the maximum of the profits. $6,120 is the total, my dear Siddhappa. 1800 into 1 plus 2160 into 2. So this is 6120, Siddhappa. So guys, we are done with the problem wherein the company has limited resources. Now they have to, with the available resources, they have to manufacture both the products. So they have to decide in what quantity the particular product should be manufactured so that we can get the maximum of the profit and minimum of the break-even sales. So we are done with this part. Now let's start with the next part of the chapter, that is key factor. Yes, Kushia, the chapter is very easy. Yes, Rajiv Kumar, you can use the same approach if there are three or more than three products also. The same approach will be followed. So now guys, let's start with the next part of the chapter. That is key factor. Key factor or limiting factor. So guys, enough of queries now. This part is very important. I request you to please pay attention to what I'm discussing. Enough of discussion on the last part. 1 second, guys. Let me check. Janisha M, as I said, the company, the mix with the higher PV ratio is to be selected and lower BEP is to be selected. So anyways, if the PV ratio is higher, it means the break-even point will be lower. And if the PV ratio is low, the break-even point will be higher. So this statement is incorrect only that if it is low PV, low BEP, high PV, high BEP. No, the statement is incorrect. So this has inverse relationship. It is a high, if it is high PV ratio, then the break-even point will be less. So enough on discussion on sales mix part. Now let's proceed further with the next part of the chapter, that is key factor or limiting factor. So guys, no more queries now. Please pay attention, my dear. Let's say I manufacture three products, A, B, and C. Let's say I have a company and I do manufacture three types of product, that is A, B, and C. The selling price of these products are 100, 100, and 100. Let's say my variable cost is 60, 70, and 80. So my contribution will be how much per unit? Will be 40, 30, and 20. Pooja Dayaram, the girl was, Jinisha was asking if there are two sales mix given. I repeat again, guys. If there are two sales mix given, that is 2:3 and 1:2. So herein in the first sales mix, the PV ratio was higher. And break-even sales was less. And in the second case, as compared to 2:3 ratio, the PV ratio was low and break-even point was on the higher side. So it means what? This option should be preferred over the second option. So enough of discussion on sales mix part. Now please pay attention. I'm just telling you a small story. Let's say, just think it practically, guys. Very simple. I do manufacture three types of product, that is product A, B, and C. Now, the variable cost of these three products are 60, 70, and 80. And my contribution per unit is 40, 30, and 20. Now, my point is, which product is more profitable for the company? Can you guys tell me? Very simple, guys. Which product is more profitable to the company in this case? Product A is more profitable to the company because the contribution is higher in product A. Now, let's take a situation. Because of COVID outbreak, the government has announced a nationwide lockdown, and suppose I am Mumbai based and my supplier is Delhi based. Now my annual requirement of raw material is, is, let's say, 1 lakh kgs. My annual requirement of raw material is, let's say, 1 lakh kgs. My annual requirement for raw material is, let's say, 1 lakh kgs. Now, due to lockdown, my supplier told me that I won't be able to supply raw material anymore. I repeat again, my annual requirement of raw material is 1 lakh kg. And because of this COVID lockdown, my supplier said that I won't be able to supply any kind of raw material. But still somehow I requested. So he said, yes, let me check. And thereafter he told me that, okay, there is one place wherein 60,000 kgs of raw material is there. So you guys can pick it up. So somehow, somewhere I was able to manage 60,000 kgs of raw material. I repeat again, guys, very important. I do manufacture three types of product, that is product A, B, and C. My contribution of product A, B, and C is 40, 30, and 20 respectively. Now, my annual requirement of raw material is, let's say, 1 lakh kgs. Now, due to COVID outbreak, my supplier told me that I won't be able to supply that much of raw material, but he somehow managed to provide 60,000 kgs of raw material. Now, herein in this question, my raw material is in limited supply. We have a scarce resources. We have not sufficient resources. We have scarcity of resources. And in this particular case, we have a scarcity of raw material. So herein, in this case, my raw material is my key factor or limiting factor. So what is key factor or limiting factor? Very simple, guys. The resources which are available in limited quantity. I repeat again, what is key factor or limiting factor? Very simple. The resources which are available in limited quantity. So that is the key factor. So in this case, the raw material is our key factor. Now, very important, guys. What will be our motto? Very simple. To utilize this raw material, what will be our motto? To utilize this raw material in such a way so that we can get the maximum of the profit. Very simple. What will be our object now? To utilize this raw material of 60,000 kgs in such a way that we can get maximum profit or contribution, we can say. Now, let's say in the question, raw material requirement is given. Raw material required per unit is given. Let's say 10 kgs. To manufacture 1 unit of product A, 10 kgs is required. For manufacturing 1 unit of product B, 5 kg is required, and for manufacturing 1 unit of product C, let's say 4 kgs are required. Now the question is, I want an answer from your end that which product is more profitable for the company to manufacture. Can you guys tell me which product is more profitable for the company? I repeat again, guys, when talking about the key factor or limiting factor, वो resources जो हमारे पास limited availability में है, limited supply है resources का, that is the key factor or limiting factor. So due to COVID outbreak, my supplier was not being able to provide enough of raw material, but somehow he managed to provide me 60,000 kgs of raw material. So in this question, what resource I have in limited supply? The raw material. We have very limited quantity of raw material. And what will be our motto? To utilize this raw material, each and every kg, in such a way so that we can get the maximum of the profit out of this 60,000 kgs. So herein, in this question, the contribution per unit is given, that is 40, 30 and 20. Further, since raw material is in limited quantity, what will be our motto? To utilize each and every kg of raw material in such a way so that we can get the maximum of the profit. So herein, the raw material required per unit is given, that is 10 kg for every unit of product A, 5 kgs for every unit of product B, and 4 kgs for every unit of product C. Now, guys, you have to answer which product is more profitable for the company. So, waiting for your answers. So, I have got an answer from Nalini C. She has answered A, product A. Sorry, 1 second. So, I've got an answer from Aniket, product C, Rashmin Kumar, product C, Ankur Patel, product C, Akash Neel, product C. Again, Tanishka Agarwal, also product C. Pooja PS, also product C. Anyone else, guys? Waiting for your answers, guys. Which product is more profitable for the companies? Okay, I've got an answer from Mangeshwaran. It is product A, Prabhas Jain. Okay, product B, Jyoti Vadel, product C. Arvind AS, product B. Mr. K, product B with an explanation. Shivam Singh, product B. Vikas Bansal, Ankit Gupta, product B. Vikas Bansal has given the explanation also. Very good, Vikas. Shreya, product A, product B, product C, B, C, B. Yes, Rajiv Kumar Das, Nalini, Madhuri. Waiting for your answers, waiting for your opinion. In fact, you have to just give your opinion which product is more profitable for your company. If it is your company, which product is more profitable for you guys? Vijay Gore, product B. Karthik Gupta, because Karthik Gupta, your answer is correct, but your explanation is incorrect. Siddhappa Kamle, product C. Riya Jaiswal, product A. Mohammad Farad, product C. Yes, Ankur Patel, your answer is correct. Rashmin Kumar, your answer is incorrect. Yes, Nalini. Yes, Madhuri. Yes, Rajiv Kumar. Waiting for your answers. Tanishka, Rafika Memon, Anu Gupta. Yes, your answer is correct. So, guys, now very simple, guys. When talking about, okay, I've got answer from Ramakrishna also. So, your answer is correct. Nidhi. Nidhi Praharikya, it's just a vague figure. I can take it 1,50,000 also. Prabhas Jain, yes, your answer is correct. So now my point is, which product is more profitable for the company if we have limited supply of raw material? Very simple, guys. Here in product A, we are using 10 kgs and we are getting a profit of 40. So for every kg, how much profit we are getting? Very simple, 4. I repeat again, since raw material is in limited supply, so when talking about the decision should be based on the raw material only. So here in the first case, that is product A, we are using 10 kgs of raw material. And let's say my profit is 40. So it means for every kg, how much profit we are getting? Rupees 4. Similarly, in product B also, the raw material requirement is 5 kg and we are getting 30 rupees as profit. So for every kg, how much profit we are getting? Very simple, see. For every unit of raw material, we are getting a profit of 6 rupees. And herein in this case, we are getting a profit of 5 rupees. So now, product B is more profitable because for every unit of raw material, we are getting the maximum profit in product B. So this is what we call it as contribution per kg of raw material. So when talking about the priority part, the ranking part, the product first, that product B should be given the first priority, product C should be given the second priority, and product A should be given the third priority. If you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can ask me. Waiting for your answer. Yes, Tanishka, I've checked your answer. Yes, Isha Jaiswal. It's just an assumption, my dear Nidhi Parekh. Yes, Nalini C, very good. Madhuri, please check your answer. Madhuri, very important. Since our raw material is in limited supply, you said A. That sir, 40 should be the answer. But herein, if we are getting 40 as profit, we are using 10 kgs of raw material. And since our raw material is in limited supply, so our major motto is that for every kg of raw material, we should get the maximum of the profit. So herein in this case, from every unit of raw material, the maximum profit we are getting is in B only. No worries, Tanishka, that's completely okay. So here the priority should be given to product B, then to product C, and then to product A. If you guys have any doubts in this explanation part, you guys can ask me. Waiting for your queries first, then we'll proceed further with this question. Very simple, guys. How come I got 4, 6, and 5? Just think conceptually. That is, we are earning a profit of rupees 40 for 10 kgs. So for every kg, how much profit? 40 divided by 10, 4 rupees per kg. Similarly, in the second case, we are getting a profit of rupees 30 overall by using 5 kgs. So 30 rupees for 5 kg. So per kg, how much? 6. Siddhappa and Pooja, hopefully your doubt is resolved. Very good, Rashmin Kumar. I request you guys to please copy this part because I'll be erasing this part now. Yes, Shyam, I got your answer. I'm really sorry. Couldn't mention your name. Sorry, Shyam. Sorry, Miss Shamal. Miss Shamal. Miss Shamla. Miss Shamal. Madhuri Nikare, yes, we should focus on the contribution, but herein we have limited supply of raw material. So our decision should be based on the contribution per kg of raw material. So let's say if my labors are in limited supply, I repeat again, if my labor hours are in limited supply, our decision should be based on contribution per hour. That is how much profit we are getting from every hour. Herein, our decision was based on material because our material was in limited supply. So we calculated the contribution per kg of raw material. That is how much contribution we are getting from every kg of raw material. That is 4, 6, and 5. So that's why we gave priority to product B, that is 6. Yes, Himanshu Gupta, this approach is also correct. But anyways, this is the easiest approach. Now let's say the maximum demand of particular product, that is A, B, and C, is let's say 5,000 units is the maximum demand for product A. 5,000 units is the maximum demand for product B, and 5,000 units is the maximum demand for product C. Again, guys, very important, we cannot sell more than 5,000 units of each and every product. I repeat again, guys, let's say we cannot manufacture, let's take a situation wherein let's say it is given that the number of units that can be sold in the market is maximum 5,000 units, not more than 5,000 units can be sold in the market. Now, how much units of product A, B, and C should be manufactured? So very simple, guys. So let's say, guys, our raw material as available is how much? 60,000 kgs. Now it is given in the question that we cannot sell more than 5,000 units of a particular product. So herein in the first case, in this case, we will first manufacture product B because it is most profitable for the company. So when talking about product B, if we manufacture entire 5,000 units, how much raw material will be consumed? Very simple. Per unit require how much kgs of raw material? 5 kgs. So total how much raw material will be used? 5,000 into 5, that is 25,000. So 25,000 kgs of raw material is already consumed in product B. So we are left out with 35,000 kgs of material for product A and C. Now, which is the second most profitable product for our company when talking about that raw material is in limited supply? Very simple, product C. So thereafter we will manufacture product C, that is 5,000 into raw material required per unit is how much? 4 kgs. So here in 20,000 kgs will be consumed in product C. So we will be left out with 15,000 kgs only. I repeat again, guys. We have a limited supply of raw material, 60,000 kgs. So our decision will be based on contribution per kg of raw material. That is how much profit we are getting for every kg of raw material. So let's say 60,000 is the raw material availability. So first we will manufacture product C, that is 5,000 into 5 kg. So 25,000, 35,000 is the balance quantity that is available with us. Thereafter 5,000 units into 5, since it is for the second priority and the second most profitable product. So 5,000 into 4, 20,000. So we are left out with 15,000 kgs of raw material that will be used for product A. Now, product A requires 10 kgs for every unit. So very simple, we can say for product A, 10 kgs for every unit. It means 15,000 divided by 10, 1,500 units will be manufactured for product A. So 15,000 and C. So when talking about product A, B and C, very simple. $5,000 units of A will be manufactured, 5,000 units of 5,000 units of B and C will be manufactured, and for product A only 1,500 units will be manufactured. Very good Rashmin Kumar, very good Prabhas, very good Vikas, very good Mangeshwaran. So now when calculating the contribution in this case, product A, B and C. Product A we manufactured 1,500 units. So 1,500 into contribution per unit is how much? 40. Product B, we manufactured entire 5,000 units and the production per unit is how much? 30. Product C also we manufactured 5,000 units into the contribution per unit is 20. So 3,10,000 is the maximum contribution we will get in this question. So if you guys have any doubts, any queries in this part, you guys can ask me. Very simple concept, that is the key factor or limiting factor. वो resources जो हमारे पास scarcity में available है, that is known as the key factor or limiting factor. So herein in this question, the raw material is in limited supply. So our decision was based on how what? Very simple, that for every kg of raw material, how much contribution we are getting. So whatever the queries you have in this story or in this picture, you guys can ask me. Waiting for your queries, guys. I'll be taking one more situation, Rajiv Kumar, don't worry. Rajiv Kumar Das, in your case, not for everyone, Rajiv Kumar Das, if so much quantity of raw material is available, then we will manufacture 5,000 units of A, 5,000 units of C, and 4,000 units of A. So I hope your query is resolved, Rajiv Kumar. Rafika Mehman, sir, how you calculate 1500? Very simple, my dear. 15,000 kgs we are left out with. So 15,000 kgs we have, and per unit required 10 kgs of raw material. So how much quantity? 1500 units. Karthik Gupta, very important. Herein, I have taken the variable cost, all the variable cost, that is material, labor, and overhead. But herein, only material is in limited supply. So our decision will be what? To utilize the material in such a way so that we can get the maximum of the profit. Rest all other resources we are assuming are in bulk supply. Contribution minus fixed cost is profit. Mohammad Farad, you have to first calculate the same assumption, that is, first you have to calculate the sales mix will be given in the question. So first you have to calculate the combined PV ratio, then the fixed cost will be given in the question. You can easily calculate the break-even sales. I'll be covering this part, Rashmin Kumar. Rashmin Kumar said, what if the demand of the other product is higher? The most profitable product will be. So very simple, Rashmin Kumar. We will go in the priority order as we have said. So we will first manufacture the product which are more profitable, then the second product, and then the third product. So this is what the approach should be. Anyone else having any doubts or queries in this part, you guys can ask me. Waiting for your queries, guys. You have to consider both the factors, Pooja PS. We can use this word interchangeably, that is the marginal cost or the variable cost, Siddhappa. Let's say in this question, minimum demand is also given. It means we have to manufacture so much quantity at least. That is, let's say 2,000 units of each and every product we have to manufacture anyhow. I repeat again, the question is saying, Mr. K, the company will consider the profit rather than the demand. So the company will fulfill the demand of the product where they are getting the most of the contribution. Rajiv Kumar Das, yes. I'll be covering this part, Rajiv Kumar Das, separately, so don't worry. Herein the raw material is in scarce, is in limited supply, so my decision is based on the raw material only. Now let's proceed with the next question, wherein if in a question the minimum demand is also given and the maximum demand is also given. So guys, please copy the first solution because I'll be writing one more solution also. Have some patience, Rajiv. I'll be covering your query. Let me complete this key factor once and then I'll discuss your query. In this part, if you guys have any doubts, you guys can ask me. Further, I request you to please copy the solution. Well said, Mantanjali. So, sir, conclusion is that we should use scarce resources for no. If the resources are in scarce supply, then very important, our decision should be based on that resource only. Now guys, here in the minimum demand is also given. It means we have to manufacture so and so quantity of product A and B and C to be in the market. So guys, we will first fulfill the minimum demand. So 60,000 kgs of raw material we have. Now let's fulfill the minimum demand of all the three products. To be in the market, the company has to be in the market, the company have to provide this much units in the market. Preeti Panchal, I'm not getting any of your questions, my dear. Sorry. So, let me check Karthik Gupta about your answer. Preeti Panchal, I have not got any of your query. So, to fulfill the minimum demand of product A and B, C, we have to manufacture 2000 units of A, 2000 units of B and 2000 units of C into the raw material required, that is 10 kgs, 5 kgs and 4 kgs. So 20,000 plus 10, 30,000 plus 8. 38,000 raw material is already gone. So we are left out with 22,000 kgs only. So if in a question, Karthik Gupta, let me check. Prabhas Jain, let me check. I have got answer from Karthik Gupta and Prabhas Jain. Very good, Rashmin. Let me check your answer. So we will fulfill the minimum demand first, that is 20,000 for A, 10,000 for B, 30,000 and 8,000 for C. So 38,000 kgs are already utilized to fulfill the minimum demand. So we are left out with 22,000 kgs only. Now these 22,000 kgs will be utilized first for B, wherein in the question it is given that the annual requirement is 5,000 units. We have already manufactured 2,000 units. So the balance units we have to manufacture is 3,000 units. So 3,000 into 5 for B. So 15,000 kgs will be utilized. So we are left out with 7,000 kgs only now. Let's see, is the sufficient amount of raw material available to manufacture the balance 3,000 units of C? So herein, when talking about C, we have already manufactured 2,000 units and now we have raw material availability is only 7,000 kgs and the per unit require 4 kgs. So it means we cannot manufacture 3,000 units. We can manufacture only 1750 units extra. How come? Very simple. When talking about C, if we want to manufacture entire 3,000 units, the raw material is 4, it means we need 12,000 kgs. Is 12,000 kgs available with us? No. We have only 7,000 kgs. And per unit require 4 kgs. So how many units we can manufacture? 1750 units only we can manufacture. So for C, 1750 into 4, that is 7,000 kgs. So now we can say, when talking about the contribution part, product A, we manufacture 2,000 units and the contribution per unit is 40. Product B, we manufacture 2,000 plus 1750, that is 3750 units and the contribution per unit is 30. And product C, we manufactured, product B, we manufactured entire 5,000 units, that is 2,000 the minimum production and 3,000 out of the balance raw material. But product C, 2,000 plus 1750, that is 3750 material units only we manufactured. So my total contribution will be 3,05,000. Okay, so the Karthik Gupta, your answer was correct. Prabhas Jain, your answer was incorrect. Rashmin Kumar, incorrect answer. But I appreciate that you have tried. Yes, Vikas Bansal, very good. Very good, Prabhas Jain. Very good, Rajiv Kumar. Very good, Mantanjali. So this is the way you have to solve the question if the minimum demand is also given in the question. So if you guys have any doubts, if raw material is in limited supply, how to approach the question, you guys can ask me. Waiting for your queries, guys. Any doubts in this calculation and presentation part, you guys can ask me. Very good, Hitesh Jain. Very good, Prabhas. Very good, Ankita. Very good, Nalini. Yes, Tanishka. Thank you so much. Anyone else having any doubts? Rajiv Kumar, Nalini, Mantanjali, Madhuri, hopefully your queries are resolved. Preeti Panchal, any doubts? Rashmin Kumar, Tanishka, Siddhappa, Karthik, Mohammad Farad, Rafika Memon, Vikas Bansal, Prabhas Jain, Arvind, any doubts? Madhuri, Pooja PS. C. Nidhi Parikh and Archie Gupta. No, Shivam Singh, your approach is incorrect. This is the best approach to solve the question. So there is a query from Nidhi Parikh and Archie Gupta. So Nidhi, we have here in the calculated the contribution. The first point you have to calculate the contribution. Now check which resources is in limited supply. Herein in this question, my raw material is in limited supply. So what will be my motto? Very simple, to utilize each and every quantity of raw material in such a way so that we can get the maximum of the profit. So herein we are getting a profit of 40 rupees on sale of product A, but this product A requires 10 kgs of raw material. It means if we are utilizing 10 kgs, we are getting a contribution of 40. So for every kg, how much profit is required? 4. How much profit we are getting? 4. Similarly, if we are utilizing 5 kgs in B, we are getting 30 rupees as contribution. So for every kg, we are getting 6. And similarly in C, we are getting 5. Now herein, since our raw material is in limited supply, so my decision will be based on very important contribution per kg of raw material. Because we have to utilize the raw material in such a way so that we can get the maximum of the profit. The total of these three is 38,000, Siddhappa. Yes, Pooja PS, perfect. Thank you so much, Mohammad Farad. So guys, this is the way you have to solve Nidhi Parikh. Now guys, few questions for you. First of all, I request you guys to please copy this part. I request you guys, please do note my explanation also. Since my raw material is in limited supply, so my decision will be based on contribution per kg raw material. As our object is to utilize every kg of raw material in such a way so that we can get maximum contribution. I request you guys to please copy the statement, everything. Let me complete this part, then I'll resolve your query, Mr. Prabhas Jain. Okay, Madhuri. When talking about this contribution, Nidhi, we have manufactured 2000 units of 8, so 2000 into 40 rupees per unit is the contribution. For B, we manufactured 2000 plus 3000, so 5000 into 30. For C, that is 30 is our contribution per unit, and for C, 2000 plus 750, that is 3750 is our total total units into 20 rupees per unit is the contribution, Nidhi. So I request you guys to please copy the statement in the explanation. Thereafter, I'll discuss few more points on key factor. No, sir, no break, no break. I'm not on break now. Yes, sir. Now, guys, in the previous question, my raw material was in limited supply. So my decision was based on contribution per kg of raw material. But my point is, what if in case if labor hours are in limited supply? We have limited labor hours. We have a shortage of labor. So now what will be the basis of decision? Very simple. We will first figure out that how much hours is required per unit. Instead of raw material, we will write hours per unit. Then we will calculate contribution per hour. and accordingly the ranks will be given. So my point is very simple. If the raw material is in limited supply, our decision will be based on contribution per kg of raw material. My point is, if I have limited labor hours availability, my decision will be based on contribution per hour. That is, for every hour, how much maximum contribution we can earn, we will follow that rule. So accordingly, if raw material is the raw material is my key factor, my decision making, the base on which I will take the decision is contribution per kg of raw material. So my decision, we have taken that jiska contribution per kg zyada tha, that was given the first priority. So that was in case of raw material. Now next, if we have limited labor hours, we will calculate the contribution per hour, and the production with the maximum contribution per hour should be given the first priority, and accordingly we will give the second and third priority. If machine hours are in limited supply, contribution per machine hour. Now guys, very important, if it is given in the question that the maximum number of overall units what we can sell is 50,000 units only. Very important guys, if in question, if it is given that the maximum number of units we can sell is how much, that is 50,000 units. Can you guys tell me which unit we will manufacture, which product we will manufacture? I repeat again, the limiting factor is on the number of units sold, that this much units we can produce maximum. So can you guys tell me which product is more profitable for the company? If the key factor is the sales quantity, that is, there is a ceiling on the number of units we can manufacture. So can you guys tell me? Waiting for your answers, guys. This part is covered in CA final, Archie Gupta. This part is covered in CA final, Archie. My point is, if there is a ceiling on limit of number of units we can sell or manufacture, then my point is, which will be the basis of decision? Apart from this, my question is, which product is more profitable? Can you guys tell me? Waiting for your answers, guys. Yes, Ramakrishna. Yes, Pooja. Your answer is correct. So if there is a ceiling on sales quantity, very simple. The product with higher contribution. Very important, the product with the higher contribution per unit should be preferred, because this is how we can get the maximum of the profit. Now further, sales value. Very important, guys. There is a ceiling on limitation. I mean, there is a ceiling on the total amount of the sales. let's say company wants to make a sale of 1 crore only, that's it. They don't want their sale to be more than 1 crore. So my point is, what should be the decision making? I mean, what should be the base of decision making? Very simple, guys. When talking about sales value, the PV ratio, the product with the higher PV ratio should be taken. So product, because this is how we can get the maximum of the profit. So product So my point is very simple. Just check what all is available in limited quantity. If the resources are limited, then contribution per resource, that is the per hour. If it is labor hour, then contribution per labor hour. If it is machine hour, contribution per machine hour should be the basis of decision. And if it is contribution, raw material quantity, then contribution per kg of raw material. So now the key factor is over. Now, if you guys have any doubts relating to key factor, you guys can ask me. Waiting for your queries in the further. I request you guys to please copy this part. Now, Rajiv Kumar, if you have any doubts, Madhuri Nikhare, any doubts? Preeti Panchal, any doubts? Archie Gupta, any doubts? Tanishka, Rashmin Kumar, any doubts? Aradhana, any doubts? Nidhi Parekh, Prabhas Jain, Arvind AS, Mohammad Farad, any doubts? Siddhappa, any doubts? Nalini, Archie Gupta, Shivam Singh, Shivam Durya, Mantanjali, any doubts? Vikas Bansal, any doubts, guys? Archie Gupta, product A is more profitable, my dear. Aniket, any doubts? So whosoever have any doubts can please ask me. Waiting for your queries, guys. In the meanwhile, I request you guys to please copy the statements. This is not covered in the syllabus, Rekha Kumari. Ravi R, very good morning. Yes, Nalini, Rajiv Kumar, any doubts? Mangeshwaran, any doubts? Madhuri, hopefully all your doubts are resolved. Siddhappa, any doubts, my dear? So guys, the portal is open. Whatever the doubts you have, you guys can post the queries. Let's take a break of 10 minutes and then we'll meet after 10 minutes with few more questions on marginal costing. We have to keep in mind the variable cost also, Madhuri. Very good, Rajiv. Perfect. Well said. Can you please mention the illustration number, Rekha Kumari? So let's take a break of 10 minutes and thereafter we'll discuss all your queries. So admin sir, please take a break. Welcome back, guys. After the break, so Rekha Kumari, can you please tell me the illustration of the latest study material? Not covering this part, Sandhya, since it is not given in the study material. Illustration number 13. Let me check. Now, guys, we are done with the key factor or limiting factor. So, as I said, the resources which are limited availability are known as key factor or limiting factor. So, if the raw material is our key factor, the decision will be based on contribution per kg of raw material. If the labor hours are limited, the decision will be based on contribution per hour. If the machine hours, again contribution per machine hour. If sales quantity is limited, our major motto is to earn profit. So when talking about quantity, the decision will be based on the product whose contribution per unit is higher. And when talking about sales value, whose PV ratio is higher, we will select that product. Rekha Kumari, illustration number 8 has nothing to do with key factor, my dear. Illustration number 8 is very simple. A companies maintain margin of safety of 37.5% with an overall PV ratio of 40%. The fixed cost is 5 lakhs. Similar question I have already discussed in the last class only. Yes, Pooja, don't worry, we'll surely. I need to check, Rekha Kumari. I'll try to take this question in the query session. Now, see, apart from the basic problems and the problems on sales mix and key factor, there are few more decision-making problems that is given and that is covered in the study material. So, just giving you a brief for the same. 1 second, guys. Just giving you a brief for the same, guys. You have to be thorough with the concepts before approaching the questions on decision making. Plus few more points that I need to discuss. That is the few types of cost. That is the first one is the historical cost. So just giving you a quick brief. Historical cost is the cost that is already incurred and it is not at all relevant in decision making. Let's say the cost of plant and machinery. Now this plant and machinery we have already purchased long back. So our decision will not be affected on that plant and machinery. Apart from this, the sunk cost, again the cost that has already been incurred and we can say the examples of sunk cost, or we can say research and development cost. The cost has already been incurred. Now, when taking a new decision, this cost won't affect us. Apart from this, the committed cost, the cost which we have to pay in normal circumstances, which we have to pay, that is the fixed salaries or the fixed rent. As far as the opportunity cost is concerned, the cost of foregone opportunity. That is, suppose A और B दो प्रोडक्ट बनाते हैं, अगर हम लोग सिर्फ A ही मैन्युफैक्चर कर रहे हैं तो हमें B के कंट्रीब्यूशन का लॉस होगा. So that is what we call as the opportunity cost. When talking about the notional cost, let's say I have invested 12 lakh in my business. If अगर मैं ये 12 lakh rupees नहीं invest करता, so I would have been getting a notional interest on 12 lakh rupees, let's say at the rate of 10% per annum. So 1,20,000 is what my notional cost. Shutdown cost. Now see guys, shutdown cost, that is the cost of shutdown. Let's say my fixed cost is 2 lakh. Let's say my fixed cost is 2 lakh for the company. If I shut down my operation, then too also I have to pay, let's say 1,20,000. I repeat again guys, when talking about the concept of shutdown cost, let's say my fixed cost is 2 lakh. Now, if I shut down the business, then too also I have to pay 1,20,000 as my rent, because I have entered into an agreement that I will be using the property for 3 years and it is a non-cancelable agreement. So in this case, let's say I have to pay a rent of 1,20,000. So even though if I shut down my business, this much I have to pay. So this is known as the shutdown cost. Now, apart from this, when talking about few decision-making problems, very simple guys, you have to be thorough with the questions, thorough with the concept to solve the decision-making problem. I'm just discussing few problems to give you a brief about that, how concepts will help you to solve these problems. So I request you guys, since we are running short of time, I need to give you a briefing about how to write exams and all. So let's discuss question number. One of the student raised a query on question number 1 second, guys. Let's say question number 13, illustration number 13. I think Madhuri has raised a query, sir. Please discuss illustration number 13. Rekha, don't worry, there is a query session. I'll be addressing your query. Don't worry, because we are in short of time. I just want to teach you how to approach decision-making problem. So quick guys, refer illustration number 13 of study material. That is NN Limited manufacture automobile accessories and part. The following are the total cost of processing 2 lakh units. The cost is given, that is the material cost is 375 per unit. The labor cost is 80 rupees per unit. And the variable factory overheads are 16 per unit. This is my total variable cost. That is 471. Further, the fixed factory overheads are given, that is 500 lakh. The purchase price of the component, if we purchase it from the outside supplier, is 485. The fixed overhead would continue to be incurred even though the company is bought from these products are bought from outside. Now you have to find out that whether the product should be manufactured or purchased. Now, एकदम simple तरीके से समझे, तो in this question my variable cost is 471. Very simple. Second point is my fixed cost in aggregate is 500 lakh. Now the question has clearly specified that whether you manufacture or whether you procure this product from outside supplier, the fixed cost is going to incur. So now the fixed cost is completely irrelevant for our decision making. Now, very point, चाहे हम लोग प्रोडक्ट खुद बनाए या बाहर से प्रोक्योर करें, हमारा फिक्स कॉस्ट तो लगने वाला ही है. It means this is not at all relevant in decision making. Now the point is, if we do manufacture this product, my cost incurred will be how much? 471. And if I procured it from the outside supplier, my cost will be how much? 485. So my point is it better to manufacture or procure it from the outside supplier? Very simple. We should manufacture the product because why? Because at the end of the day, my cost per unit is less in this case. Now the point is fixed cost. It is not at all relevant for decision making because anyways the fixed cost is going to be incurred. Yes, Archie Gupta. I wish I could, Rashmin Kumar. I could teach you till 11 o'clock also. I really don't mind teaching you till 11. But yes, I have limitations and ICA has given the time that you have to complete the lecture by 9:30, 9:40, 9:30 in fact. So I have extended few of my sessions. So I wish I could extend it till 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. So I'm sorry, Rashmin Kumar. So the point is, guys, in this question, the question is very straight away saying that, boss, if you manufacture the product, my cost is how much? 471. If you procure it from the outside supplier, the cost is 485. So better to manufacture only. So these decision-making questions are just like that only. Just read the question carefully and think from practical perspective. Agar ye mera business hota, what decision I would have taken? Just think that agar ye mera business hota, to main kya decision leta, and then try to solve it. I assure you guys, you will be able to solve. But yes, before that, you guys have to be thorough with the concepts of marginal costing. So now, enough of discussion on marginal costing. So guys, today is my last session. And it was it was really like, I really felt very good while teaching you guys. Thank you so much, guys, for participating in the session, posting all your comments, queries, everything. I tried my level best to cover all the concepts in detail, but still I was not being able to cover few concepts because शायद कुछ पढ़ाते ज़्यादा ही deep में चले गए. So in the time that has been allotted, I was not being able to cover few concepts, specifically in the material cost. So that material cost part I will be covering in the query session. A query session has been allocated to me. So I'll be taking all your queries in that query session. I'll try to extend the query session also for you guys. So now a tip for you guys, try to solve each and every question. As I said in all the lectures, try to solve each and every question in writing before this query session. You have 7 to 8 days time, guys. So whatever the chapters I have discussed, first of all, if you are not being able to understand few concepts, please view the YouTube lecture. Please check the YouTube lecture once again and then try to memorize the concept and then solve each and every question of study material and past practice manual in writing. Thereafter, if you are done with it, then just please make a note of the problems wherein you are finding difficulty. So in the next query session that has been allocated, I'll be covering the first of all the material part first, and then the remaining time, that is 1.5 to 2 hours, I'll try to cover all your queries, guys. So it was really nice teaching you as far as how to write exams and all. I'll be covering this part in how to approach the exams, how to write the papers, which questions to attend first and to last. I'll be discussing in the query session. So guys, thank you so much for the day. And it was really nice teaching you. I'll miss you a lot, guys. This batch was awesome. Especially, few students were like, they participated in all my session. I can remember the name: Hitesh Jain, Rashmin Kumar, Madhuri, Tanishka, Shivani, Archie Gupta, Harsh, Arvind AS, Mr. Gupta. I don't remember. There are 2-3 Gupta. So it was really nice teaching. Really nice teaching you guys. So thank you so much, guys, for participating in the session. I'll be back with the query session, I think, on next Monday. So in the meanwhile, I request you guys to please solve all the questions in writing. Again, I'm mentioning in writing. काफी students को काफी चीजें समझ में नहीं आई होगी. Please check the YouTube lecture and try to practice. हरिवंश राय बच्चन जी ने कहा है कि कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती, लहरों से डरकर नौका पार नहीं होती. So keep trying, guys. I assure you guys, this is the most easiest subject of the syllabus. Students इसको tough समझते हैं because why? because they try to memorize the formula. So no need to memorize the formula. Just follow the thumb rule, that is the concepts. Try to solve, learn the concept, try to practice. Again, practice is the only solution. See, I'm not a god. I have learned all these concepts with the help of practice. I also used to solve hundreds of questions on these chapters. Now I'm perfect in these chapters. Why? Only because of practice. So the practice is the only way to clear the exams. And further, when talking about practice, solve the questions in writing. So guys, really enjoy teaching you guys. Thank you so much. God bless you. And take your time. Do revise all the chapters what I have discussed in these sessions. And we'll miss you a lot for this week because it's been 7 to 8 days. I'll not be taking any class of yours. So try to solve all the questions. We'll see you guys in the query session. And thank you so much, guys, for your time and patience. Thank you so much, guys. I wish Mohammad Farad I could share my mobile number, but no, I'm not allowed to. Thank you so much, Sandhya. Thank you so much, Yogita. Yes, Yogita, I do remember you message me every morning at 7 o'clock your doubts. So thank you so much for participating. I really appreciate that you have practiced a lot in these sessions. I won't be teaching Neha Murarka, the budgetary control, addressing all your queries, guys, one by one. I'll miss those queries also. Thank you so much, Ramakrishna. Tanishka, yes, I'll be taking the query session, my dear. Don't worry. I don't think there is a session of marginal costing. Let me check. I don't think there are any sessions of marginal costing. Still, let me check. Sorry, guys. There is one more session on marginal costing. It was my mistake. I'll be discussing few more points on marginal costing. There is one more session on marginal costing. So no miss you, no, nothing like that. I'll be discussing more concepts on marginal costing. There is one more session. So Rekha Kumari, your two doubts on, so your question on if there are two key factors plus few more questions on decision making, I'll try to cover. Yes, guys, there is one more session. Thank you so much, guys. See you on Monday. We'll give you the briefing for more on Monday. So that's it for the day, guys. Thank you so much, guys. See you on Monday with more questions. I'm sorry. Thank you so much. Sir, done with the session.